So. I have a question for you today. I am curious if you remember learning how to drive, taking driving classes, or have you ever gotten a ticket and they said, well, hey, the judge said, well, hey, if you go to driving school, it won't hurt you. It might not hurt your record. It might not hurt things. I'm just wondering if you can remember any of those things, because I'm super excited to have a business spotlight here on the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show, episode 786. And guess what? We're going to be talking about driving. We have Genesis Driving Academy here, and we have the founder and lead instructor, LaTasha Copening. And we're going to be having a great conversation today. So don't you move. Don't you go anywhere. We're going to get started right after this quick intro.
Whoa. Why y'all so happy?
You don't know? Sharvette Mitchell is on the radio.
It's time to get motivated, excited, and influenced. Why? It's the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show, live from Richmond, Virginia. And now, here to motivate, excite, and influence you, Sharvette Mitchell.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show, broadcasting live from the capital city of Richmond, Virginia, but heard and seen all across the World Wide Web. And here in the United States, this is Thankful Tuesday, because we are heading into Thanksgiving this week. So we know that some of you are watching and listening while you're prepping your greens, or you're making some pound cake. You might be listening to this. You might be on the train. You might be in the airport, and like Sharvette, I'm listening to the podcast version. Well, we're excited to have you. Certainly Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Thank you so much. Shout out to all of our live streaming viewers and those that catch us in the live stream, and those that are over on YouTube. Shout out to Roberto and Marilyn. We are excited that you are here hanging out with us on the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show in this business spotlight. The goal of the show is to motivate, excite, and influence. And we love to do that by featuring amazing guests. And we are geared towards, this show actually started way back. So episode 786, way back when the show first started, it really was all around business spotlights. So I love that we get to do that. Certainly we sprinkle in celebrities from here and there, and we talk about some other topics, but business spotlights are definitely at the core of what we want to feature here, because number one, we want to shout out women-owned businesses in particular, and that's what we got going on today. So let me jump right on in as you all are gathering. And listen, while you are watching, while you are here, shout out to Instagram as well. And if you are catching this later, because I know how this week goes, there's going to be a lot of replay and repeat viewers. I want you to type in the comments if you have a funny story related to learning how to drive. I want you to type that in the comment. Learning how to drive. I want you to type that in the comment. So let me bring my guest up now to the virtual studio, because she is hanging out in the virtual green room here in our business spotlight on Genesis Driving Academy. We have the founder and lead instructor, LaTasha Copening. LaTasha is certainly one of those people, if you meet her in person, you would say, oh, yes, she has such a warm spirit. She has such a calming spirit, which is needed in this industry, right? But Genesis Driving Academy, which is a Virginia Department of Motor Vehicle approved driving school, serves Richmond, Virginia, and has been serving since 2018. She brings to the table 10 years of teaching experience, and certainly a passion for empowering students, and that's adults or youth, to become safe, confident drivers. LaTasha is committed to creating a calm, supportive learning environment and meeting students really where they are, whether it's their first time behind the wheel or they're preparing for the road test. She is there to support them. And in her spare time, she enjoys traveling and spending time with her family. Put your hands together and welcome LaTasha Copening up to the stage. Welcome. Hey, Natasha.
Hello, everyone.
Oh my goodness. We are super excited to have you here on the show. And so I have to start off because I want to definitely talk about how you started Genesis, and why and all of that. But those that were at my summit, know how we met. Now, I'm not going to spill the beans because you had to be at the summit in person, but y'all that were at the summit and you were like, you remember the conversation and the connection that me and LaTasha have, just type summit in the comments, just type summit in the comments. But tell us, LaTasha, like, how did this all get started? How did you get inspired to start Genesis Driving Academy?
Yes. Well, thank you again, Sharvette, for the opportunity to be here. I just want to first say that first and foremost.
Yeah.
But yes, to answer your question, starting back in 2018, it was actually 2017, but 2018 is actually when, I put boots on the ground and actually, started working it. But 2017 was when, the idea was birth, if you will.
Yeah.
I was at a pivotal point in my life where I had been a voluntary registered childcare provider. So I did that for quite some time prior to having my daughter, and then her first years prior to her starting preschool. So fast forward to that point, she's getting ready to start preschool and kindergarten, and I'm like, I like what I do, but I don't want to be at home anymore, and I
Yeah.
want to be in that educator slash facilitator role because, as an early childhood, care provider, that was the piece of it that I enjoyed truthfully the most. Of course, caregiving, the feedings and diapers and potty training and all of that's all good. But I
Yeah.
really enjoy, watching my children, grow, thrive, and flourish and, learning their numbers, their shapes, their colors, their alphabets, right? So I
Yeah.
knew I wanted to do something in that educator role, if you will. But it
Mhm.
just took me some time to kind of, figure out what it was that I wanted to do. So
Wow.
looked at a couple of things. I considered, CPR, first aid instruction. That was one of the things that I know I had considered. And it's like, I just had a point where I was like, okay, what are you good at?
Uh-huh.
And what's something that you can help other people with or teach other people. And I was like, well, your driving record is kind of good. You haven't had any tickets for a while. You've been to driving school, but you know what that's all about.
Yeah.
So did some research and yeah, decided to go with driving school. So starting it in 2018. Starting out, I just was doing, the defensive driving class, and then later moved into, the behind the wheel because I honestly did not have a desire initially to be in the vehicle at all, right?
Oh,
But that's just something that came. It came with it. It was a bonus, if you will. And I like to say that I've grown into that role. They tell me I'm good at it. I receive that. So we'll talk a little bit more about that, with some
yeah.
other questions I'm sure that you have. But yeah, that's how it all um
Okay.
came
And that's
about.
how it got started. And yes, so you got like almost at 5-star reviews on Google. So yes, I think your students are agreeing. And so in my age bracket, we took driving school as a part of, shout out to Hermitage High School. It was a part of a high school, but that's different now, or I don't know when that changed, or I might be telling my age. Is anyone else like me who learned how to drive? Well, I'm gonna say at least took some driving school in high schools. When did that change, or is that still
So that's to answer your question, that's still happening.
okay?
Some students are still fortunate enough if they get their learner's permit at the right time, they are
Ah,
able to take that, through school. However, during COVID and since
yeah,
COVID, there has been a huge backlog of students that are not able, to get that in, in school, both the behind the wheel portion and the classroom portion. And so, the need definitely has grown the last few years. And so yeah, but they still offer that. I did it myself too. I'm Huguenot '01, class of '01. So we were at
okay.
Parkerfield slash Scott's, they call it Scott's Edition now, that area. But yeah, every day
Wow.
driving in the city. And yeah, so excited and eager to get our, our license. I was at least, and I'm sure I wasn't by myself.
Yeah.
Some of them still have that motivation and they're ready to get out and drive it, and others they need a little bit of a
A little bit
nudge
more
and
of a
a
push and
push.
a boost. Yes. Shout out to comedian Wendy Lee. We see you commenting. She said, "Yep, I had driver's ed in high school." And so, been serving since 2018, serving up this Genesis Driving Academy. What have been some of the milestones that you would say, and maybe even some of your proudest moments?
I would, by far, some of my proudest moments are when my students get their licenses. Some of them are
Yeah.
more memorable, if you will, because some of them they have. I mean, like you said, I'm starting. It could be a teenager, and it can be an adult that's starting for the very first time from ground zero. From scratch per se. So
Yeah.
those particularly, when we
Yeah.
are starting in parking lots in residential areas and we see it all the way through, with them, finally, being skilled enough and comfortable, of course, to pass that road test. So those are by far my proudest moments and what fills my cups. And it's not just them getting their license, it's, the doors and opportunities to open up for them, in doing
Yeah.
that. Like one student that I'm working with now in particular, he started today. And I had the pleasure of working with his twin brother
Oh,
about
wow.
maybe 4 years ago. So, those moments too, seeing things come full circle,
Yeah.
the younger siblings or, other relatives and things like that. I love to see, the connections and, connecting the dots, if you will. But yeah, he mentioned, when he gets licensed, because he's an adult. So he's looking to be a GM for a company that he's working for now. Because right now he's in management, but he needs his license in order to be able to move up, move
Wow.
up. And so, yeah, those things, just what I know the things that will open up the doors, give them, more opportunities. And yeah, by
Awesome. Awesome.
far.
By far, that to me definitely would make me be excited to see the impact. And so if you're just tuning in, hey, you're checking out the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show. We're hanging out here with LaTasha Copening, and founder and lead instructor, I'm going to say, for Genesis Driving Academy, which is located here in Richmond, Virginia. So they do need to be in Richmond. Would that be correct?
Yeah, I would
Well,
say Richmond
surrounding
surrounding
counties.
areas. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. I've been as far south as like Fort Lee. I've had a student on
Yeah.
base there before.
Okay.
Far north as I would say Hanover. And now I would
Okay.
say this. I have had students that will travel the distance for me.
Okay.
So not to toot my own horn, but
Right.
I've had some that come like just maybe 2 months ago. I had one that came from Caroline County. I had one that last year she came from Charlottesville. So
Okay.
I definitely, I provide, that experience that makes it worth the travel. And we'll get into a few other things too later that talks about, some things that kind of set me apart from
Yeah.
other
From
driving schools in the area. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, let me capture some comments. So, comedian Wendy Lee, is the student driver vehicle a rubber bumper car? So, the answer is not, but I'm glad she brings this up because you actually do have a vehicle. So I'd love to kind of jump in there because you can certainly you have classes and all, but you also have an insured vehicle that
Yes,
people
ma'am.
can use, right, for their test.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Now, it's
Wow.
not a bumper car, but it is a
Right.
vehicle that's fully insured. So if anything were to happen, we're covered.
Great. So
We're
if you have
covered for
those
sure.
listening, if you have a teen or a young adult, or you are an adult and because it's a wide gamut of people who, for whatever reason, if they came from a huge metropolitan area like Washington, D.C., and some of these places where you didn't have to know how to drive because of public transportation. So
That's
it
correct.
could be any reason, which leads me to capture this comment. So thank you so much, Roberto. He says, I know what car I'd like to drive, yet I have a fear of driving. How do I overcome that fear? That's so great.
Speaking confidence and affirmations into people, having that common spirit, letting them know from day one. Like I said, I had one that started today. He's been doing some driving, but he was nervous. And a lot of times you don't think you can do what you are actually capable of doing because that fear, right?
Hmm.
But just letting them know, instilling from day one, I'm here. I'm here with you. I'm supporting you. We're gonna get from A to B and back home in one piece, us and the car. Right?
Yes.
And that I believe in them. They're gonna do it. Just affirmations and things speaking to that fear, because that fear is the biggest thing, just life in general, that will keep
Yeah.
us from, taking that lunge and doing what it is that we need to do. So just speaking to that fear so it doesn't continue to cripple them, for
That's
one, and esteeming them, letting them know, hey, we need to work on some things, but you did great on this. And, yes, that's how you do it. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta boost them up, and not selling false hopes at all. Cause a lot of times there may be things that we need to work on, but there are things that we are, when we're improving, I'm letting them know, hey, you're really improving on this. And remember how, and I refresh them and let them know, remember how on this day you said that you couldn't do this, or you didn't
yeah.
think, you were, yes, all the
It's
things. But yeah,
it's all
my
coming
student
into play.
today, I said, we're going to drive down 9 Mile Road. And he's like, 9 Mile Road? I don't think
Like I can't. That's a little
I
hectic
can't do
for me.
that. I said, yes, you can, and you are, and we will.
So affirmation. So thank you, Roberto, for saying the fear of driving, and speaking to that fear. And I am always talking to people around. He's saying thank you so much. The fear piece. You don't wait for the absence of fear.
Correct.
So you still might have some level of fear. Just get like 51% confidence. You can still
Yep.
have the 49% fear. And so let me capture, because some moms are chiming in. So I'm shouting out some moms that are chiming in. I would love to connect you with my son. My nerves are too bad. Listen, when we were trying to drive, me and my sister Kim, well, I'm sure will watch this later. So Kim, comment over on YouTube. My mom was like, "Eh." My dad was the one that we like got in the car and practiced
Yep.
because my
Yep.
mom's nerves was shot. So can you tell people how to connect with you? So I think that was a great segue.
Yes, ma'am. You can connect with me at on Instagram at genesisdrivingacademy.com, or Genesis Driving Academy. Same thing on TikTok. Number is 804-442-7967. And my email is info@genesisdrivingacademy.com. And I see Sharvette has the website linked here also, genesisdrivingacademy.com.
There you go. GenesisDrivingAcademy.com. Also over on Sharvette.com. If you're checking out, you'll look down below in the show notes and you will see all of the information there. And if you're watching over on YouTube, from a TV, or you're on maybe Amazon Music from a TV, we just popped up a QR code. And you can scan that there. And then listen, Marilyn is in the house. Hey, Precious, who was the MC for our summit. So you'll probably remember her.
Okay.
She's like,
I
I wish
love
she had a
her.
location. Yes. I wish she had a Maryland location, because listen, I know that is all about Evan, her son. So shouting that out. So listen, author Shirley, so good to see you. I can relate to this. Woo. So Miss Shirley, you must have had to teach somebody how to drive. Well, this is why we have Genesis Driving Academy. And so let me stay on track, because I'm just talking.
Yes,
But I
ma'am.
definitely love that. And just your voice is very creating a calming, supportive environment, for people. And so what are, and you talked a little bit, but what are some strategies that you use to help those nervous kind of first time, drivers, in addition to, and I know you said a lot, but if there was anything else you wanted to add?
Yeah, anything. I mean, the other thing besides that is I mean, for the most part, when we are driving, I'm gonna have a little bit of music on. We're not gonna be bumping it loud, but we're
Uh-huh.
gonna have a little bit of music playing in the background, and I'm gonna be asking them questions, about what they like, what grade they're in, of course, school, and if they, any sports, just things that kind of. We're not gonna be in the car just quiet and just
Right.
not
Right.
like, no, we got a whole 50 minutes with you and a whole 50 minutes. If it ain't a private lesson, we got a whole 50 minutes with the next person after you. So listen, we gonna all get to know each other. And
Wow.
yeah.
And get that. So I'd love to. So we're talking a lot about people needing to learn how to drive. However, you offer other types of services. So can you let the viewers know, all of the kind of behind the wheel and any other types of services that Genesis Driving Academy offers?
Sure. So not just the behind the wheel, but we also offer courses for individuals and tutoring for individuals that need assistance with being able to pass the test at DMV, because that's one door. It's
Yeah.
like, not to take anything from it, but I use this sometimes as an analogy. It's like that gate to get into heaven. You only got that one door. Everybody has to go to DMV to get your permit to start,
Yeah.
right? So with that, when an individual fails the test 3 times, you have to take a course, to be able to go back to DMV and continue with taking the test. So I offer, tutoring for individuals that may not have failed it that third time yet, but they want to kind of get, be proactive and not get to that third attempt. And then
Good.
if you do, have the unfortunate event of, failing for the third time, again, just kind of being there, for those individuals, giving them the 8-hour course that they need. Now, if it's a teenager, they may need to do the driver's ed classroom portion, and I offer that as well, because
Okay.
that's a requirement for them to get licensed here in Virginia. However, if it's a student that has not already completed that and they fail the test for the third time, they would, of course, have to complete that before they're eligible to go back and retake the test. So
Great.
I
So definitely
offer
check
both
out
of
that.
those.
Oh,
Yeah, I offer
good.
those as well. I do a summer camp in the summer or driver's ed, just to kind of have something in person and make it, fun, hands-on.
Yeah.
And so they're learning, the rules of the road and, all the basics and things like that. And it, 2 week summer camp. So I offer that. And outside of that, private lessons, not just for adults, but even for my teenagers, I do have some parents that just do not have the patience. Because one thing that
Listen, they
has
testifying in the
changed.
comments, honey. They are testifying in the comments.
So here's the thing. Okay, so these babies, they gotta get 45 hours of guided driving practice here in Virginia, right? But sometimes I have those parents that will say, "Hey, I need you to lay the foundation for this 45 hours that I'm gonna have to drive." And it may not be them, it might be another relative, but for whomever is gonna be, doing the driving with this child, let's get them started with the basics. Do 7 lessons, 7 private sessions. So this is not going towards a requirement to get licensed, which is the behind the wheel, but these are private lessons just to kind of break the ice a little, if you will, and give them that foundation to get them started with the, the hours that they're going to need
Wonderful.
to
And
get
again,
licensed.
Wonderful.
GenesisDrivingAcademy.com. If you're just popping in, this is a business spotlight, and we have LaTasha Copening here, founder and lead instructor. And so, when you go over to the website, listeners and viewers, you'll see the behind the wheel options. You'll see site courses and also online courses. So tell us about the online courses. What do those entail?
Yeah, so I have 3 online courses as of right now. Online, I have the defensive driving course, which I teach that in person as well on a monthly
Okay.
basis. But for some people, they just might want to take that class. If you got a ticket, or if
Mm,
you might have been involved in a crash and you received a citation, or were ordered by court or the DMV to complete the class, I offer that online. Online, though, I will say this one thing about it: it's not like a scheduled Zoom or a time that you have to log on. It's completely self-paced and self-guided, so you can do as much or as little of the course as you want. Once you complete it, all of them are 100% online with the exception of driver's ed. If you're taking
okay.
driver's ed, the classroom portion of it online, when you get done with the course, you do make an appointment to come into the office to schedule, your final test. But
Okay.
the driver education and then the driver manual, that's the other class that I offer online. That's again for the individual that might have failed for the third time. Those are the 3 that I offer online.
Wonderful. So I raised my hand because the one time that I did have to go to a driving school, it was because of a ticket. And the judge was so gracious because went in and threw myself on the mercy of the court because I was like, I don't want my insurance to go up.
I know that's right.
And so then so I wanted to highlight that. So there might be listeners who were like, oh, I have a ticket. And literally Genesis Driving Academy is DMV approved in
Yes.
Virginia. So if you get a ticket and you get an opportunity where they let you go to driving school, keep Genesis Driving Academy in your back pocket, right?
Please do. Please do.
Yeah, yeah. How else can people connect with you, follow you? Do you have an option if someone needs to talk to you first before some of these?
Sure. So if you go on the website, you can fill out a form if you want. If you, it's just a simple, a simple form if you have a general question. If you want to schedule a 15-minute consultation, no fee or no charge for that. There's also a link on the homepage or under certain services that will require me to have a conversation, just to make sure that you've gotten all your boxes checked, and we're ready, the readiness of the student to make sure that they're ready for that step and what they're inquiring about. So yeah, sure, you can schedule a 15-minute call with me, and that is out on I think forgive me, because my acuity, I
Uh-huh.
believe it's Genesis Driving Academy .as.me. Don't
Yes.
quote me on that.
But it's on the main website. So we have so if
Yes.
you're listening to the podcast, look down below in the show notes, genesisdrivingacademy.com. And so running, this is a business. So running as a business and as a business owner and woman owned business owner, now you're in your 8th year, going into your 9th year. We're twins in that. Certainly
Yes.
running a business, being an instructor. How are you balancing, entrepreneurship with your passion and family and all that good stuff?
Well, I think the number one thing is just first and foremost, just coming to terms with myself. I can't do it all.
Yeah.
I can't do it all. I'm not a hero, or none of the above. I do my best and show up every day, with intention, of course. But balancing definitely comes with support,
Yeah.
from friends and family. My partner is very supportive. My dad is very supportive. My mom is very
Awesome.
supportive. My family just in general. If and when I need to reach out for something, whether it's my daughter, not being home when she gets off the bus, and making sure that somebody is here. She's not a baby anymore, but
Uh-huh.
I just still like to be someone to be present when she comes home, and she's just not coming home to an empty house. So my dad he's very hands-on with that, and making sure that he's here if I'm not here. So yeah, just staying grounded.
Uh-huh.
Just reminding myself again, like, girl, Rome won't built in a day. Like,
Yeah. Mhm.
I definitely have a calendar. I have a checklist. I have sticky notes in the room. I have sticky notes in the car, because I have to write things down. When they
Yeah.
come to my mind and I'm thinking about it. So yeah, definitely
Yeah.
that. Coaching, you've
Yeah.
been great. I've had, some other nobody with branding and marketing. So this is a
Okay.
first, for me, and I'm grateful for
Yeah.
that. But people just in general, I have a score mentor that I work with, and him and we talk,
Awesome.
on a monthly basis. So definitely having some people to hold me accountable.
I love it.
And yeah, yeah.
Great. Let me capture this. Hello, Dr. Amy. Yes. And back when I went to driving school, virtual was not an option. Right. So
Mhm.
that is, yeah. So I remember when I had to go to driving school, it was not an option. So that is and I bet every driving school doesn't offer virtual, right? Does every driving school?
No, now nowadays a lot of us do have online courses, but you're right. All schools don't
Mhm.
offer virtual, and some schools that may offer virtual, they may not have in person. So it's
Ah,
definitely, I love that I still have the flexibility, and I've been able to keep my doors open to offer both,
yeah.
because during the pandemic and COVID, of course, online is really that was the the nit and grit of everything. You couldn't
Right.
do much in person during that time, but I'm grateful for that, because that did add another stream of income and
Yeah.
revenue for the business. And that's also something that keeps me balanced.
Yeah, absolutely. GenesisDrivingAcademy.com, where people can go. Also Instagram. So welcome again to Instagram viewers that are checking us out or checking out the replay. They can jump over to Instagram, Genesis Driving Academy. Follow. Even
Thank
if you're like,
you.
I don't think I need it right now, you might get a ticket, sis. Bro, you
You
might get a
never
ticket
know.
and you never know. What would you say, kind of as our time flew by, what would you say sets Genesis Driving Academy apart from others?
One thing that I hear a lot, Sharvette, is that, the female instructor from that standpoint, a
Yeah.
lot of families with my young ladies and women, they prefer to work with
Yeah.
a female instructor. So definitely in a industry where it's male dominated,
Dominated.
right?
Yeah.
That's one thing that, definitely sets me apart. And I will say this too, being that I am the only instructor.
Uh-huh.
There, of course, it comes with its pros and cons, but one of the pros is that, when I pick you up, it's going to be me all 7 days, because I have also heard reports of how, other siblings or relatives, they get a driving instructor or they sign up, and it literally, I had somebody tell me they had a different person every single day. And I'm like, what?
Wow. Talk about trying to learn and get your nerves down, and then you
I
gotta
don't
you
know
gotta
how
learn,
that.
figure them out.
I'm thinking to myself, well, all these people even certified and legit? Like, you mean to tell me you got 7 people? I mean, it's possible, but
Right.
I'm just saying that to say, like, these are some of the things that happen. And then lastly, I would say you are only going to get one me, okay?
Yeah, right. Like, I am the secret sauce over here. We got
Listen,
like,
you can go somewhere else, but you're not gonna get this space right here. This space, these vibes, this calmness, none of that, okay?
none of that. I love it. Do you have some in-person sessions like for December where people are like, okay, I need to get something going? Do you have anything available that's already
I
scheduled?
definitely do. I have a class coming up. So I have a defensive driving class in person coming up on Saturday, December the 6th. And I'm also going to be booking some behind the wheel lessons. Over the winter break, I'll have some availability for any students that might not be traveling, and they might want to get that knocked out before winter break. I will say that will be my limited availability for my teenagers until the spring of the year, when we have a little bit more daylight hours. Because right now, this time of year, especially with Henrico County getting out at around 4 o'clock, we don't
Yeah.
have that much time before the sun goes down. So
Yeah.
I'm not doing a lot. I don't have a lot of availability during this time of year, and it goes
Right.
very quickly. So if you
Oh,
miss winter break, you might not be able to get in until sometime in the spring. And it's not going to be in spring break, because I'm not going to be here spring break.
great. Well, there you go. There you go. And so the goal of the show is to motivate, excite, and influence. And our last question is, what continues to motivate LaTasha Copening?
What motivates me the most is being and continuing to be an impact on, individuals, and being a beacon of light. It's just so much that we're up against right now, and different people are battling and facing. So just continuing again to, impact people, give them, what it is that they're needing. And like I said, that one piece can open up it could be the key to open up so many more doors,
Yeah.
for that individual. So that's definitely one thing. Outside of that,
Mhm.
just continuing to be that anchor for my family.
Yeah.
This is why I do what I do. I love what I do, but don't get it twisted, I still have to provide as
Right.
well. So that is always gonna be, a driving force, if you will. And not to exist, but to
Yeah.
live, and be a blessing to others. And like I said, just to live, to thrive, to flourish. That's my driving forces. Keep
Well,
going.
awesome. Well, we salute you here on the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show as a business spotlight. And I don't know that I know of many other women owned, driving academies and driving schools. So shout out to you for
Thank
getting
you.
in this lane and helping people with a huge milestone, or
Thank you.
help them keep their insurance down if they like, I gotta do
Yes,
this driving
yes.
class. So
And save
again,
that coin.
save the coin, save the coin. So again, listeners, if you need any of the services or refer somebody, GenesisDrivingAcademy.com. If you're in Virginia, Richmond specifically and surrounding, and then certainly on Instagram, Genesis Driving Academy. Follow, if nothing else, follow.
Thank
Listen,
you.
that don't cost you nothing. And Facebook, Genesis Driver Improvement LLC. I have tagged on Facebook. So just follow. If nothing else, because sometimes, LaTasha, people don't need the service until they need it. They're like, oh, wait, I was listening to Sharvette posted something about a driving school. And so sometimes you don't need it till you need it. But
Right.
we're thankful that you stop by and have an amazing Thanksgiving. Be safe on the roads, right? Because there was accidents.
Yes.
Earlier
Yes.
here, like drive. So a lot of people are thinking about driving, and anything you wanted to say about like being safe on the roads with this holiday
Yeah,
season?
just leave in plenty of time. Have alternate routes in case you can't take the route that you know that you're thinking of. Get plenty of rest. Get plenty of rest. No drinking and driving. Have a DD if you're gonna be, doing what you do. And
There
just
you go.
remember, slow down. Slow down. Please slow down.
Slow down. Well
Yes,
said. Well said.
ma'am.
Well, we thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you.
All right. Woo. I am telling you, awesome. I love, again, doing business spotlights because founder stories. This is what this is, founder stories, and hearing why somebody started and hearing their passion just really speaks to a lot of different audiences. So that's why we do it. And so we're excited for LaTasha and all the amazing things. And we're hopefully somebody that's listening, or several of y'all, a whole bunch of y'all, can be like, oh, I can refer her service or her driving school or her driving academy. And so listen to the podcast. If you are a podcast listener, look down below in the show notes. We have all the information there. Go ahead and subscribe to the podcast. Go ahead and subscribe. And if you're listening from YouTube, you might be new to me because YouTube, you're watching me vertically. On your phone, YouTube has a new feature, and we notice a lot of probably 10 times more viewers on YouTube from the vertical view. So welcome if you're new on YouTube, because they're showing this content to you. Go ahead and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss anything. And we're so grateful. Yes. Hey, Dr. Val. Some people. Listen, send them LaTasha's way. Again, Sharvette.com is one of the easiest ways to stay connected and learn more about our guests, and click all the links. All right, it's a wrap. Y'all have an amazing Thanksgiving. We are so thankful for all of our listeners. If you've listened once, if you have listened to 700 of the 786, we're appreciative of you. Have an amazing holiday. We'll see you all on the web. Bye.
Live from Richmond, Virginia, you've been listening to the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show. Catch Sharvette Mitchell every Tuesday at 6 p.m., interviewing all the stars you want to hear from. So until next week, stay motivated, excited, and influenced. This is the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show.